Look like a bunch of old people sitting there doing a
Yeah, Jimmy, gotta go this way.
boring talk show.
Slide in.
Yeah.
I'd like to introduce Lisa Susko, the owner of August Grace Interiors, Jim Hill, the owner of Hill Building and Properties. My name is Jason Gault, and I'm with the Gault team at Real Estate One. And together we are Buy, Build, Design. So how the team got started. All of our careers are centered around the home. Jim on the construction, building, and remodeling side. Lisa on taking the design side and turning the space into something inviting and beautiful. And me on the real estate side, helping people make a good value decision when they're deciding whether or not they want to buy or sell. We're going to have links in the description below to all of our social sites, so if you have any questions or specific things that you'd like to see in the future, be sure and check us out in the comments. So we kind of think of the team as a triangle, each one of us being a leg.
Yep.
And Jim, you were mentioning a triangle happens to be like the strongest shape.
Exactly. It's what every truss is made out of, is a bunch of different triangles inside of the truss to give it strength.
I kind of feel like we're three different sides of the same triangle, and we have different strengths that all complement each other.
All bringing something to the triangle.
What I like about that is that the three sides there's three specific sides, and in design, using three of anything really helps to make that cohesion, and I love making little vignettes out of threes. So I just love the whole sense of three within design. You know, that kind of odd number is always a good rule of thumb to go by in design.
Okay, so is that what they call, I've heard that called the rule of three? Is that, so that's a thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Three is a good number, and the combination of our skills, like you said, really is the complete package when you talk about home, right? So buy, build, design.
Well, almost like that was a really well-planned segue.
Exactly.
Lisa, why don't you tell us more about yourself and August Grace Interiors,
Sure.
and I guess interior design in general.
Okay. August Grace Interiors, everybody asked me where the name came from, so I'll start with that. August is the month I was born, and I just love August. It's the Sunday of summer, as they say.
Okay.
So you try and get everything that you can out of the rest of summer, especially here in Michigan, right? So I love August, and then Grace is by the grace of God. Everything I do is by the grace of God, and that's how I came up with the name. And August Grace Interiors came out of the pandemic, believe it or not. So I had done all kinds of stuff in friends and family's homes, and I started getting asked by a friend who was a real estate agent if I would do home staging. And so while we were all shut down, I decided to figure out how to get certified in home staging. And that turned into a whole course in home staging and home styling. And then, you know, one thing led to another, and the business just kind of continued to grow, where I was going into families' homes and using my own home, which was kind of fun, but expensive. So my husband's glad now that I'm in other people's homes and not spending it all in my own house. But my house is starting to get like a little, behind. I think I'm gonna have to start doing some new additions. So I'll be calling you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Learn a little bit about you, and to build on that. No, okay, that was a bad pun. Sorry.
There you go.
Jim.
Right.
Why don't you hammer out a little bit of the construction side for us?
I've been doing it for probably just over 30 years. I got out of the service and I kind of started doing remodeling with my father-in-law, because he was an engineer and he remodeled on the side. So for extra money, I would go and work with him on the side after hours from my full-time job. So I just kind of putzing with him and learning the trade, and he kind of taught me the trade. And then after that, it just kind of, I think I can make a living at this. So then I got my builder's license, got insured, went out on my own, hired a bunch of guys, and kind of took that path right there. I enjoyed the military, and I enjoyed that type of environment also. So I thought, you know what? I became a volunteer fireman, and I enjoyed that a lot too while I'm still doing all the carpentry. So I thought, you know what? I could become a full-time fireman, work 10 days a month, and that also leaves me 20 more days a month to build things. Business has grown to the point where now it's kind of, we're building houses, we're doing big $100,000+ remods, and we do well over millions of dollars a year in business. So the point we're at now, we just kind of supervise, manage. We've got all the right people in place, and that's our job, is to put the right people on your job to build nice projects. What kind of got me going way back in the day, and guys out there watching this will know, I started, my biggest project was the Moose Preserve Restaurant, Square Lake in Woodward, and they had me put the rear deck on. Then I went to Westland and I did Beaver Creek for that restaurant company. Then I came back and I did a portion of Camp Ticonderoga. Then they brought me back and I did the Iroquois Club. From there, we did the White Horse Restaurant. Then I did the Lake Inn Restaurant. And we did a bunch of work at Bullfrogs. The jobs date when these things were done, and that kind of tells you how long I've been at it.
Yeah.
So far so good. I like it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we're fortunate to be in Ortonville and have good people with us. So that kind of tells a little bit of story about Jim Hill and Hill Building Properties. But obviously, Jason Gault has brought us all together, and your backstory is incredibly interesting. So tell us a little about you, real estate, commercial, residential. I mean, your resume reads incredible.
Okay.
Give
Well,
us-
thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. I won't make any bad real estate jokes because it's way too easy. So, okay, I lied. I'm going to make one.
Right.
What's the difference between a real estate agent and a mortgage broker?
I don't know.
A mortgage broker knows that they're boring. so
Sorry to all
In the
mortgage
comment section
brokers.
below, feel free to comment.
yeah. Okay. So my backstory. Yeah, it's not a straight line that got me to where I am right now. So started out graduate of Brandon High School, class of 1990. From there I went to Ferris State, and I wound up writing diagnostic manuals and diagnostic software for 2 different car companies. The division I worked for was international service, so that kind of went away. I decided to get back into a little bit of my roots and started a painting business. So I was doing interior and exterior home painting, and I got hooked up with a good carpenter and learned the carpentry side of the business. Eventually I wound up subcontracted to a company that moved houses. We would take a house on an existing basement, pick it up, take it somewhere else, pour a new basement, set it down, and then go through and remodel it and sell it. So at the same time, I decided I wanted to go back to college. So I went back to Rochester University and got a degree in psychology. I get the degree, construction business is going good, and kind of found this niche. And then 2007 comes along. I had a really personal real estate experience, was going to buy a house. Out of that experience, I wound up with a real estate license. I built my real estate career starting in 2007. Foreclosures and short sales and all of those things that were going on at that time, and people needing help and trying to understand and negotiate with their lenders. That's how I learned to do this business.
I think now, why buy, build, design? So we said the who,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
now why? Why are we together? What are we gonna do?
Let me
Maybe
start?
that's the next.
Sure.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm the build side of the fence. We've got 3 houses we're building right now, super interesting. We've got one on Lake Nipissing that we're building, which is more of a standard construction, walkout basement. We've got one here in Ortonville, Kyle D, which is in the drywall. We're sanding it right now. We've got another one on Sylvan Lake we're doing right now, which is all helical piers. It's not your standard home building, crazy interesting. That's a 3,500 square footer. And then we've got another one we're working on too, that Lisa's already brought in the fold on that one, which is a big master suite addition with a finished basement under the new addition and a finished basement under the existing home. So they've already contacted Lisa about doing the design element on that, and that's Dan and Misty, and they're super.
Yeah, and what's great is working together. We can now have this, partnership of being able to offer to your clients and to my clients too, the combination of us together, which I think is fantastic. And then we bring Jason into the loop when they're selling a home, building, bringing in new construction, when they're doing Airbnbs, when they need their home staged to sell, so they can get into that new home that Hill's going to build. I just love the whole combination of this, and that it's really more of a total package, right? So they don't have to, your clients don't have to be sent to go pick out tile and go pick out your cabinets without having somebody there to pull it all together. And oh, by the way, we can even start talking about furniture fabrics and lighting and do all of this together, as we're thinking of the whole space. When you think about some of these larger home builders, where they send you into a room and they have all these cabinets and paint samples, and oh, you can only choose from these paint
That's
samples, and you get one paint color, right? It's
Yep.
stressful.
Very.
It's so stressful.
Yep.
Like, who wants to, it's hard enough that you're, bailing out all this cash for your
Yep.
forever home, your long-term home, your family home, that you absolutely want to be your dream, and it's in your head, but now you've got to get it out of your head.
Yep.
And not everybody has the ability to do that, and they're not thinking through it the same way as someone who's been through it multiple times with the client is.
And I can attest personally
Yeah.
to that right now because I contacted you, or Robin and I contacted you to do a kitchen remodel.
Yep.
So it's been so nice to have somebody there to kind of, like you said, guide you through that process
Sure.
and help you understand, what your options are and how to bring the vision that we had and the functionality into the space and make it work. Like you were saying, same thing that I try and do when I work with my clients, where they have this vision of what they want, they have a budget they have to work within, and to the best of my ability, I help try and bring those two things together. My excitement with this comes from being able to bring in other professionals like a designer and like a builder to consult with my client and say, okay, this is what you're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah, we can add that master suite. We can extend the basement out. We will be able to bring in, the refresh of this kitchen area and make the house what you want. So even if we can't do it all today, we can put a plan together that 3 to 5 years from now they can still have that, which in this market has really been helpful. The market is going to continue, I think, to have that inventory problem. And now we're starting to feel a little bit of financial constriction with interest rates and other things.
Absolutely.
So being able to come in and utilize the space that's there and change it in a way that suits people, and then change the design, the flow, and the feel of it to make them feel like it's their space, or give them the look that they want or the feel that they want, is going to be very important. So on that note, I'm ready to get on the road today. So
Sounds good. It's almost dinner time.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So,
thanks for sticking with
stuff.
us and
Yes.
getting to know us, and we hope that you'll continue to follow us.
Yes. So what was that phrase about possible?
The art of the possible.
The art of the possible. Yes.
I like it.
So with that, have a great week, and we'll see you again real soon. Okay.
What's the plan for dinner, Mom?
How do you respond to that creatively? Yeah.
I'll call on the way home.